Hello and welcome to another reading from the book Power of Purity by Mohanji. This section now came from a comment. I was requested to read something on this topic and it's on anxiety, and so there's a section in the book called Human Conditions, and this is a topic on anxiety. So the question is, how can we tackle anxiety? This is Mohanji's response. Through understanding, through clear understanding of the truth or reality, higher awareness is the only way. When we look from below, the mountain is unconquerable. For a mountain climber, that is only one of the challenges that is encountered in the course of his life. He will conquer that too. It's the way you look at it. Anxiety happens due to a fear of the unknown, or unknown fears, especially about the future. Since the fear exists now, the future essentially becomes clouded. In other words, if we do not use our now wisely, the future will be murky. Understand that nothing belongs to us. Just look around. Your house, your car, the clothes that you wear, the transitory money in your hands, your own relatives, even your own body. You own nothing. Everything came to you to give you experiences, and everything will leave you at some point or the other. Your body will be trashed too. After death, completely gone. So what is there to hold on to? Your soul. Only your soul, which is the only thing permanent, the only permanent entity in this impermanent world. All the wars and fights for possessions and power are useless. They're unnecessary. All you need is love, just love. All anxieties will go. Whether you are anxious or not, the future will happen, and you have to face your future. There's no escape. We might as well face it bravely, head on. That's the way to live life. Those who commit suicide might feel they have escaped their problems, but much bigger karmic problems await them in the next life. Problems will be much more magnified and multiplied in the next life. And escapism is not a solution to anything. The question continues, but why am I anxious? A, pressure from society to perform in a prescribed way. B, the targets that you have set yourself. And C, comparison with other people. All these are unnecessary. You are yourself. There is no one like you. No need to compare. No need to prove anything. If you're working in an organization or running your own business, you will have targets to achieve. If you're not able to achieve that, it could be either because, one, the job is not suitable for you, and you're doing it out of some kind of helplessness, or you have set yourself targets which are well beyond your capacity. Two, your mind is elsewhere when you're doing the job, so you're distracted. Or three, a lack of confidence. All of these need to be tackled using different methods. Nothing is unachievable if you concentrate on it. Multitasking dilutes concentration on everything. Do one thing at a time with full concentration, which is equal to meditation, and move on to the next. This way, we say, work is worship. Perfect application of yourself without expectations of returns is karma yoga. So analyze what makes you anxious, because it is individualistic. Analyze what materials you have in hand now. Use the same materials to overcome anxiety. You cannot use anything that you do not have. Do not cry over what you do not have. Use what you have and overcome situations. Fear takes away more than 50% of the chance of winning any situation. Fear makes your heart sink. Fearlessness is the key, and for that, you should understand that you are not limited to this body, mind, or intellect. You are the imperishable Brahma, the all-being, utilizing this body, mind, and intellect for a particular duration and purpose. Every situation is momentary. Every situation will change. Anxiety should be tackled through awareness. And the question continues. So this is just my narration now. I think you can see there from Mohanji's response, it's very practical. You only have the now, right now. There's no need to worry about what others think, what you're comparing yourself to, or if you're able to do it. This creeping fear of maybe failure or something else is useless in this situation. And here it says, 50% robs you of 50% chance of being successful. So very practical, and knowing Mohanji, having lived with him, this is purely how he works. Just head on, face life as it comes. The future you don't know, but when it comes, handle it then. So the question continues. My anxieties aren't going away. Fears are increasing. Times seem to be bad. Help me. It is essential to understand the situation fully in order to overcome it. Walking the path, you must. I shall explain an average human existence. So this is very good. A soul takes birth as a human body. His childhood is spent in blissful abandon, and the child is immersed in seeking playfulness and fun. He is ignorant of his true state. He is always anxious about proving himself and being better than his friends. Then he becomes a youth and spends most of his adolescent years in a struggle to gain recognition and position in society. Adolescence puts him into a kind of no man's land. Neither here nor there, he struggles to carve an image and position for himself. He is also keen to have a girl of his dreams as his partner. A lot of time and energy is spent in fantasies and daydreaming. He's anxious about proving himself in every aspect of life. It says a man here, but it could also be a woman. As an adult, he is busy with carving out a life for himself and his family. He is also immersed in earning money, educating his children, building a house for himself, securing his old age. He runs all over the place in a struggle or race to create the life of his dreams, forgetting to enjoy the present and always being anxious about the future. As he grows older, helplessness increases, and so does associated anger and frustration. He also builds up expectations about his children, and if they do not fall within the frame of his expectations, he is disappointed and disillusioned. Sometimes he also pampers his children too much, and in return, they kick him around. He prays to his gods ritualistically, offers part of his earnings to appease the gods, expecting tangible favors in return. He lives in a world of dreams and expectations, in a continuous struggle and anxiety. Old age. He is retired. People are not respecting him as they used to. Previously, respect had come out of compulsion or due to his office or social position, not due to his selfless service rendered to society. He has become insignificant and now simply exists on his own hard-won home, which has already been taken over by his children. He is often a babysitter for his grandchildren or a temporary watchman when his children travel. He often feels like a doormat. He is weak, helpless. He craves for his past glory and yearns for respect. He is anxious about the relatives going away and is not sure whether he'll be properly attended to. Sometimes he also fears that he could be dumped into some old people's home as an unwanted burden. He spends sleepless nights filled with fears and anxieties, but during the day he puts on a mask of overconfidence, rigidity, and grumpiness. Whenever left alone, he secretly cries over his helplessness. Silently, during one such night, he leaves his body. At that time, he realizes how all the ego built a castle of sand of his achievements and possessions over the years actually meant nothing. He realizes how futile everything was. He regrets that for not even one moment did he ever connect to his own soul. He had forgotten everything in the struggle to create an existence, name and fame. It was only at the time of death that this profound realization had dawned on him, and the only thing that ever mattered was his own soul. The soul was in charge. The soul was running the show. The very reason why he had assumed the body was to fulfill the mission this soul had, but he never even bothered to introspect and inquire what this mission was. All of this was a late realization, as it had come at a time when the soul was already leaving the body. Too late for any corrections now. So this is the story of the existence of an average man. Unconscious youth, egoistic adulthood, anxious old age, and most certain death. Unfulfilled wishes and another birth in another womb. The continuous stream of birth and death the soul carries on without complaints. Please be aware, even a child born today will not be existing on earth in 100 years from now. There will be completely a new set of people. Many souls have walked this earth before you, with the same feelings and emotions, and many souls will walk this earth after you, with the same feelings and emotions that you have now. Understand your significance in these relative terms. Now, it is time for introspection. What was worth it and what was not? Observe your life from the perspective of your soul, even when attempting to understand your relationships. See them from the perspective of the soul. All relationships are as important as relativity and are a matter of inevitability. Are you that, or are you beyond that? This question must be pondered on. Nobody owns another person in any way, even though you may disagree with me on this aspect. If two people are married, they do not own each other. They came together only because of their karmic vasanas were similar, that's all. An individual is essentially an individual, an independent karmic being. This must clearly be understood in order to curtail expectations towards others. A person will perform up to your expectation only if your wishes and her karmic agenda fit perfectly well. Whether it be your parents, wife, husband, daughter, or son, the same rule applies. Be aware of this. Awareness of the macro existence will take anxieties away. Anxieties are only in the mental plane. Mind likes to hold on to the fears for its own existence. At your soul level, there are no anxieties or fears. At your soul level, there are no anxieties or fears. Soul has no guilt either. All this exists only in conscious mind, as well as on your hard drive, the subconscious. The subconscious only stores impressions. It never discriminates. Good or bad times are derived out of collective consciousness. When a generation of people live in fear, hatred, and anger, they are only inviting agony into their own lives one way or another. When a generation lives in love and kindness, they create that reality. Therefore, there is no point in blaming the times. Times are created by all of us, collectively. As thought is the first level of creation, energy is released. If thoughts are negative, they conglomerate with such similar thoughts and become an event. This is how events are formed. We have to tackle the good and bad. Have faith in yourself, the non-perishable entity, the God that lives within the temple of your body, your very soul. Have faith in the supreme entity, the God or the supreme soul. This kind of faith will diminish your anxieties and fears. You cannot leave the mind in a vacuum state. It must be substituted with faith. So start contacting your soul through your breath and solely internalize your focus. The less external you are, the lesser your cravings will be, the lesser your anxieties will be. So a bit of a long reading today, but I think it's very profound. It sounds like such a simple question, how to handle my anxieties. But here, it's given the whole roadmap of life, right from birth to death and the stages of going through youth, through adolescence, into sort of this time of earning and then old age. To that understanding that there's nothing here temporary. There's nothing here permanent other than the soul. Everything else is temporary. So no need to dwell on that. Connect more to that which is permanent, the soul, and then anxieties will vanish through breathing techniques, through other practices. So very profound, very practical. And that was another reading from The Power of Purity by Mohanji. This time it was a section on anxieties. Do continue watching, and we'll continue the reading series with another topic next time. Thank you.